Business is like art. There are rules, but you don't have to follow them. Still, it's important to know what the rules are so that when you break them, you do so in a way that improves your client's experience rather than just making things awkward and weird. Hi, hello, my name is Megan and I am a business coach for chaotic, witchy, and leftist entrepreneurs who want to do business their way. But you can't break the rules until you know the rules. So let's talk best business practices and how you can do things a little differently. The first rule of business that I see touted online a lot is that the first thing you should do when building a business is build a website. So let's talk about why this is a rule. There's actually some really good reasons for it. I think a lot of people discover their business in the process of making their website. In order to create a comprehensive website, you're gonna need to know your content pillars, your business values, the aesthetic you wanna have, and so much more. Starting with a website is going to help you know where to go next. What kind of products to create, what services to offer, who your ideal client is. All of that will become clearer through the process of making your website. One reason that you should follow this rule is if you know you want a business, but you're just not totally clear on the details yet. In the process of creating your website, you will start to narrow things down and create a vision that both you and your future clients can see clearly. One reason that you should break this rule is if you already know exactly the business you want to run and you already have ideas for ways to make money, you just want to start doing it. Building a website is just going to slow you down, kill your momentum, and maybe stop your business in its tracks. The best way to break this rule successfully is to create landing pages for your free and paid things that you know you want to create already. That way you don't have to build a whole website, but there's still a page people can go to if they want to learn more. Now, I personally use System.io for all of my business endeavors. Highly recommend it. My affiliate link will be in the description, but you can also use other software like Squarespace or Leadpages. Then once you have all these landing pages made, you can organize them into a Linktree style page that you can put in your profiles of all of your socials, whether that's YouTube, Substack, LinkedIn, or something else. Which leads me nicely into the second rule of business, which is that you must use social media. Once again, there's a good reason this is a general rule of thumb for business. And that's because social media is free advertising. Now, obviously it's not completely free. A lot of us run ads, and even if you don't, it still takes up your time and energy to create the things you put on social media. And since you're paying yourself, it's not free. You're paying yourself for that time. However, it does cost less upfront than other forms of exposure, so social media is something I strongly encourage you to at least consider. One reason that you should follow this rule and use social media is if you love to talk about what you do. You want to connect with other people in your space, not as like a weird, gross, transactional networking thing, but as like you love the topic of your business so much that you just want to learn from other people who love it as much as you do. Oh, and as a note, you don't have to be extroverted to be on social media. Introverts can be really passionate people too, with very important things to say. So don't count yourself out. There are introvert-friendly ways to approach social media. Now let's talk about one reason you should break this rule, and that is if you hate social media. If you think social media is stupid or a waste of time or toxic, you shouldn't be on it. If you resent something, it's probably not going to make you more successful. So you can either work on adjusting your mindset around socials and developing a healthier, happier relationship with them, or you can just kick them to the curb. Either way is genuinely fine. Now, if you're saying, Megan, I do hate socials for all of those reasons that you listed and more, but I feel like I can't run a successful business without them, au contraire. In order to break this rule successfully, you have got to find other ways to bring people into your world. I recommend trying things that are social media adjacent, things like Substack, things like podcasting, Pinterest, and so much more. Basically, if you choose not to be on social, just have a plan for how people are going to find you, how they're going to get to know you, and how they can buy things from you. As long as you're clear on that plan, it doesn't have to involve socials. Hi there, just interrupting your video really quick to let you know about the Business Magick Summit. This is a totally free, totally virtual, amazing event built for intuitive entrepreneurs who want to incorporate magic into their businesses. We're gonna talk about everything from tarot to astrology, from shame to revenue, and so much more. Everything takes place March 17th, 18th, and 19th, and you can get your totally free ticket in the description below. Okay, back to the video. The third rule of business is that you must be consistent. The reason this rule exists is because a lot of the algorithms depend on consistency. They need new, fresh content to feed their apps, and they reward the people who give it to them. One reason you should go ahead and follow this rule is if you are just starting out. When you're first getting started on social media, you need to create enough content to develop a reputable presence on that platform. People need to know that you're going to be there, that if they follow you, it's because they're going to keep getting quality content, not because, you made a couple posts 2 years ago. And the second part of this is that when you're first starting out, you need to create content so that you can develop your ethos, your MO, your point of view as a creator. You can sit there and think about the topic of your business all day long, but none of it compares to actually creating content, putting it out there, and receiving people's feedback. One reason you should break this rule is if being consistent is going to burn you out. It is better to post inconsistently than to not post at all. If you want to break this rule successfully, I recommend aiming for something just a little to the left of consistency, which is something called persistence. Just keep posting. Even if you only post 7 times one month and then 12 times the next month, or maybe twice a week and then 3 times a week and then not at all, it's better if you just keep going. When you refuse to give up, it's really hard to fail. It might take time, but eventually you get where you're going. The next business rule is that the back end of your business needs to be super high tech and totally automated. This rule exists because the less friction there is in the buying process, the more likely someone is to buy. It's just easier to make money when your entire business and software and technology is set up for you to make money. One reason you should follow this rule is if you love technology or if you're really good at it. Maybe you don't know everything you need to know right now, but you're confident you could figure it out in a reasonable amount of time. If this is you, then yes, please set up your business so that it is streamlined and automated on the back end. It will save you such a headache later. But one reason you should break this rule is if tech is a nightmare for you and it's going to slow you down. Momentum is so important in business, and we don't want to waste our time doing stuff that, yeah, we're gonna need later, but we don't necessarily need right now. There are several ways you can break this rule successfully, starting with making simple checkout pages using stripe.com, which is totally free. Or if even that is just too much, I totally get it, and I have another recommendation for you. You can go ahead and market your offers on social media or whatever platforms you're using and tell people that if they're interested, they need to DM you or email you. Then when they reach out to you, you can send them your Venmo or your PayPal and let them know, hey, pay me and I will send this to you right now. Is this the most frictionless system? No. Are you gonna have a lot of people who drop off? Yeah. And is this gonna scale with you? No, not at all. But does it work right now? Yes. And sometimes that's all we need to get started. There are a million ways you could run your business. Whether you choose to follow these rules or break them, just make sure you know why you're doing what you're doing. And if you want to learn more about how to build a business that is profitable, ethical, and fun, make sure you sign up for a free ticket to the Business Magic Summit in the description below. And I will see you all next week.